Yeah, absolutely. It was great to get that done for the program and for the alumni, especially over the last few years that have been working towards that milestone and just getting the program to new heights and different levels. So that was good. Obviously, you know, mid-season matchup, regular season matchup, not something that we just want to jump up and down for and hold on to for long periods of time. So I think it was great. It was an electric bus ride, but now I think today is the beginning of turning that page and starting to look forward to the weekend, which is going to be important. I will say that the team showed up this weekend. They absolutely showed up. They to put in the type of shift that they did on both Friday and Sunday was really rewarding to see. Just been telling them and talking to them about you've got to be playing your best soccer towards the end of October, and we're not quite there yet. But each week and each the last two weekends we've been inching towards that, and I think it just starts with having the right leadership in the locker room to keep them uh, focused. You know what I mean? Not getting too far ahead of ourselves, staying in the moment, not allowing the highs to get too high and the lows to get too low.
Kind of building off of that, you're in the driver's seat now. How do you manage that with the team the rest of the way?
Uh, you know, I think what we're been doing this entire time is staying focused on our goals, and our team goals have not changed. Um, they're hanging up in the locker room. They have to look at it each and every day before they go into the changing room. It's a constant reminder that there's a collective goal that we're all trying to reach, and I think it all comes down to the leadership that we have in the locker room. And the Brooks, Brennas, and Izzy's, but we have the informal leaders too, that are stepping up each and every week and putting in the work each week in training. So, I think everything that we do, it starts from leadership and then also into our training environment. Our training environment is very intense. We talk about laying bricks a lot, meaning if you get better, the whole team gets better. And so I think that's been a big difference over the last couple of years is our training intensity has always stayed high from basically August all the way to November. And we're seeing that even more so this year. So in order to stay in the now, we got to make sure we continue to do the right things and continue the right habits in our training environment.
Coach, you talked about your team showing up to play. Can you speak on Jillian Thompson and her play just this past weekend and some big saves that she had?
Yeah, for sure. And one of Jillian's greatest strengths is 1v1. She's really good at reading the right moment to come off her line and to make a big save, especially when some goalkeepers can get caught and a little bit of hesitation whether or not to come or to not. And she's been able to really fine tune her feet over the last year and a half with working with Peter Griggs and now Jonas, just to be able to continue to get better. And she's a player that's very committed to the process. She's gone through ups, she's gone through downs, and she keeps pushing forward. And she's a mentally tough kid when we need her to be too. So, I mean, can't speak, you know, highly enough about someone like Jillian. She's very committed to what we're doing, and we're really proud of her accomplishments and her ability to emerge as a leader within our back line.
You talk about mentoring leadership. How do you kind of tackle that during practice, during training?
It's more or less about guiding them. You know, I mean, some of the best things about Laura and I is we're player coaches, meaning not only have we're coaching them, but we've also played this game for quite a long time, and so we're not too far removed. You know, I guess that's not entirely true anymore. I mean, I'm approaching like 14 years now, so but we know what it's like to go through that process, and so we try to at least guide them to the correct choices, the correct answers. We don't let them sway too far off the road, and we want a player-led culture. And so we allow them into the decision-making process within the grand scheme of reaching our overall goals. So there's a lot that goes into it. Culture is not something that you put on a wall and that you can just talk about every so often. It is a constant reminder that we spend a lot of time working on, especially in the off-season too.
Coach, we look the weekend ahead. Purdue Northwest, Parkside, both on the road. Your thoughts on those matchups and what you guys have to do to kind of get the job done?
I mean, these teams are very dangerous. They don't quit. You know, Mary and Brittany do a very good job within their own team culture to get buy-in and to get players that don't have a die attitude, and they continue to push and they play hard. Obviously, you know, I say it every week. We won't talk too much about Sunday until we take care of Friday. But I mean, even this weekend, Purdue played both Ferris and Saginaw very tough on the road. So anytime you go into Hammond, seems like every single time it's raining and it's windy, and it's on a new surface. So we got to deal with those obstacles, and we got to make sure we put Friday away against a very organized and a very tough Purdue Northwest team.
And Coach, with a kind of long road trip like this, you know, 4 games in total, does the message change to your team at all when you're traveling of like, hey, like, I know it's a road trip, but like, we've got to still be at, you know, at this level?
Yeah, I think it does because the road presents its own challenges. It's difficult on the road, and you look at the GLIAC, the way they've matched up, like our conference has matched up against the other regions. The GLIAC is doing pretty well this year, and so anytime you go on the road, it doesn't matter if you're playing 3rd in conference, 5th in conference, 8th in conference. Doesn't matter. They're going to bring it, and it's important that we stay focused. Remember that it's a business trip, that we stick to our routine, that we do what needs to be done, and we do what we know to work in terms of doing our scout, getting a good meal, getting a good walkthrough. There's more of an attention to detail, I would say, on the road to make sure that we set them up for success. You know, even the little things about who they room with to make sure they're comfortable and those kind of things. We take a lot of these things into consideration just to make sure that they feel confident heading into each and every match on the road.